Hi, I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my video for August 18th, 2026. Here today we have Richard's Trump Kharg Island statue dream, a dream of a victory statue of President Trump erected on Kharg Island following President Trump's statement that the Strait of Hormuz will become a U.S. territory. He said, pretty soon, quote, pretty soon I will be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Okay? And so what I'm saying, in the dream, President Trump might have gone to the Iranians and said, look, okay, you can keep your Kharg Island if you let me put up my statue of victory. Here it is, the Trump Hormuz statue of victory for declaring it a U.S. territory. That's a victory, and for that you can now keep your Kharg Island, providing that there is a statue. The Trump victory statue is erected on Kharg Island, and you can operate exporting all your oil, your crude oil, 90% of it, through the Persian Gulf into the Strait of Hormuz, onward throughout Europe and everywhere. And there's no problem as long as you recognize that the Strait of Hormuz is a U.S. territory, and you recognize the victory statue of me here. Then that's the dream. That's President Trump's dream of this statue here, holding up the American flag. And I got that idea from Iwo Jima. This was during World War II when we defeated the Japanese on the island of Iwo Jima. That was a strategic island that we needed for victory over there and against the Japanese. And it was a tremendous battle that was fought. And the Marines are shown here in the statue of hoisting the American flag on that island of Iwo Jima during World War II. And so President Trump might have put himself into that role here as hoisting the flag over Kharg Island, which is very off the coast of Iran. It's an island off the coast of Iran, and it's vital to their exports. And they would be grateful for President Trump letting them keep that in exchange for his statue in President Trump's dream. And there you have it. There it goes. There it was. And this could have been the inspiration for President Trump to have dreamt the dream here. But President Trump did this all himself, created this U.S. territory, this Strait of Hormuz, as now a U.S. territory in his dream. And here is President Trump here. And here is President Trump dreaming along here. Okay. Again, President Trump said pretty soon the Strait of Hormuz will be a territory of the United States. And President Trump said that basically he threatened Oman with we will bomb the S out of them if they mess up his arrangements with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz, because Oman has actively been talking to Iran, negotiating on travel paths for ships going through the strait, because you can see here from the map that Oman, here, they're situated right over along here. And the idea, I believe, I heard, now I'm not sure if this is 100%, but I did hear some talk that they're proposing a passageway. They're negotiating a passageway. Iran and Oman here were negotiating a passageway through the strait that ships would go according to the coast here, the coast of Iran, and then they would be required to go along the coast of Oman. So they'd have to pass through both coasts in order to get through the strait. Now, they didn't talk about tolls or anything like that, but it sure sounds that way. You could deduce that the reason for them making this passageway, that they have to pass by Oman and they have to pass by the coast of Iran and the coast of Oman, making that passageway was just to eventually lay the groundwork for a toll booth. Let's say a water toll booth. Let's put it that way. A marine toll booth that ships would have to pay passage based upon how much oil they had or whatever cargo they were carrying. So you could assume that. You could hypothesize. I love that word, hypothesize. You could hypothesize that, but there's no evidence that they ever spoke about it. But I'm just hypothesizing that why would they want to make us that route that they have to go through the Strait, they have to go along the coast of Iran, and to get through, then they have to proceed along the coast of Oman. Both Oman and Iran were negotiating on that, among other things. Who knows what else? But President Trump got wind of this, and he put it straight to them. He says, we're going to bomb the S out of our ally, Oman. This is a long, long relationship we have with the country of Oman. And President Trump is just they're going at it, and they're going, and he's going like it was, like Oman was part of Iran almost. We're going to bomb the S out of them. So there you have that. And that was it here. Okay? And so I took some notes here that I want to say that I think were important here. Okay, that that this Kharg Island plays a very important role, strategic role of handling about 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. Okay, and tankers loaded at Kharg, leaving Iran, must travel through the Persian Gulf to pass through the Strait of Hormuz to reach global markets. So it's a vital waterway for Iran as well, with the U now being declared as U.S. territory. So we got a big hand. We really got him good now in President Trump's dream here, and there he was. That was how I wanted to put that in there to emphasize the fact that this is a dream. I had to make that point here. There he is dreaming all of this business with a deal to Iran for the statue on Kharg Island in exchange for the U.S. now being the Strait of Hormuz now being a territory of the U.S. Okay, and there you have that. And I want to see if there's anything else here that I need to mention here that's relevant to what I'm talking about here. Well, yes, the nuclear deal expired yesterday between Iran and the United States. They were going to discuss nuclear. President Trump's concerned about about Iran's nuclear weapons that's buried under the ground, how we're going to extract that, and what's going to happen in the future centrifuges, how they enrich uranium in the future, and President Trump basically was focused a little bit on that, but mainly President Trump is now focused on the Strait of Hormuz, which wasn't a problem before the war, which is now moved up to numero uno problema for President Trump here. Now is the Strait of Hormuz opening because, again, we're getting close to elections. Gas prices are skyrocketing up, and President Trump's a little concerned about that, and his Republican friends in Congress are also concerned. So that's become a great concern. And so there you have that now it appears that President Trump is very concerned about the Strait of Hormuz, to the extent that an ally, a great ally like Oman, he would threaten to bomb the S out of them if they got too cozy with Iran, and he said if they get in the way. President Trump used the term, if Oman, quote, gets in the way, being in the way of his progress with the Strait of Hormuz with Iran. Okay, and that basically is it. Okay, all right. Okay, that was it, folks. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Hang in there through these tough times. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.